Possibility of a thunder boomer or two overnight tonight. Low temperature of 64 degrees. We are seeing the remnants, Alexa, of Hurricane Isaac here in our area.
That's true. I wish we would have had that nice weather just a little bit longer, but we were expecting this rain since last week was so beautiful.
It was beautiful last week, so now we're paying for it with a little bit of rain. We'll have full weather details coming up here on WVTT. Now, WVTT's World News Roundup, more bloodshed in Syria. Coming up, a report from Arwa Damon in Beirut, who's monitoring the situation. First, though, we've all been there in the produce department at the grocery store trying to decide whether going organic is worth the cost. Now, a new study might help you make that decision. It finds organic food has no more extra vitamins or minerals than conventional produce, but there is a difference when it comes to pesticides. Elizabeth Cohen has our story.
Many people shell out the extra money for organic food, figuring that it must be healthier for them. But a new study questions that. Now, it's a complicated study, so let's take it step by step. This study looked at a lot of other studies, and what they found is that organic food has a 30% lower risk of being contaminated by pesticides. So that looks good. And also, people who eat organic food have fewer pesticides in their body, and they can tell by looking at urine. Now, given those two things, you might think, well, gee, if I eat organic, I'm going to live longer or be less likely to get some terrible disease like cancer. But what the researchers point out is that there aren't great studies showing that people who eat organic live longer, that having fewer pesticides in your body will actually decrease your chance of getting, say, cancer. Those studies just haven't been done. Now, there is one group that deserves special consideration, and that's pregnant women. There are studies showing that pregnant women with higher levels of pesticides in their bodies are more likely to give birth to babies that are lower birth weight and have a lower IQ. And the American Academy of Pediatrics does say try to minimize the amount of pesticides in your child's diet. Elizabeth Cohen reporting.
It's a new week and a new political convention as Democrats prepare for their big show in Charlotte, North Carolina to follow up last week's Republican gathering in Tampa. Democrats found themselves on the defensive, responding to questions over whether America is better off today than it was 4 years ago. Emily Schmidt has more from Washington.
Just as Charlotte, North Carolina prepares to be the center of the Democrats' political universe this week, party leaders found themselves talking as much about the past 4 years as about the upcoming few days. It started with the Sunday talk shows.
Can you honestly say that people are better off today than they were 4 years ago?
No, but that's not the question of this election.
Monday, O'Malley tried to rework the message by saying the country is clearly better off. Vice President Joe Biden said the same thing at an AFL-CIO rally.
You want to know whether we're better off? I got a little bumper sticker for you. Osama bin Laden is dead and General Motors is alive.
President Obama continued the theme with auto workers in Ohio.
I believed in you. I bet on you. I'll make that bet any day of the week. And because of that bet, 3 years later, that bet is paying off for America.
Appreciate it. Have a good day.
Republican presidential nominee Mitt Romney took the holiday off, while his running mate Paul Ryan went to North Carolina just a few hours away from the Democrats' convention site.
Every president since the Great Depression who asked Americans to send them into a second term could say that you are better off today than you were 4 years ago, except for Jimmy Carter and for President Barack Obama.
It's a sign the better off today than you were yesterday battle is likely to linger for a bit longer. In Washington, I'm Emily Schmidt.
Following on the heels of the deadliest week in Syria in nearly 19 months, another horrendous day yesterday for civilians in that civil war-torn country. An entire family was wiped out in one of the many ongoing airstrikes in Aleppo. We are having difficulties with our connection to Beirut, so we'll have more on that story tomorrow here on the 6 o'clock report. On the way here on the 6 o'clock report, sports. It was the Buffalo Bulls versus the University of Georgia Bulldogs. How did our Bulls fare? WVTT's Derek Smith reports next here on News Channel 25 WVTT.